Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, Guile here, and welcome to another Supreme Commander epic, only this time of the ladder variety. Don't see too many of those. Very exciting stuff. First of all, give me your replays immediately, and like this video while you're at it, because that's important. The earlier you like during the transmission thingy, the more, I don't know, it just helps. Just do it. Yeah, so there was a gap in programming, as I say a lot, but that's because there was a bit of a spasmodic embolism, or whatever you might call it, in the replay vault this week. I had major trouble finding a replay for today. Thank you to everybody who has sent replays in. Apologies if they didn't quite cut the mustard. Please don't let it deter you from sending more in the future. But guys, keep them coming in. I need help. And I want to say a big thank you to Mr. Kepler, who sent today's one in, and indeed the one that is featured over on the Patreon VIP channel. If you want extra content, member guys, you can sign up for only $1 a month. Go check that out. It's good stuff. More Guile content there to be had. But yeah, sincerely appreciate all of the replays that are sent my way, but keep them coming, guys. And if you want to know how to do it, how to get featured, it's very simple. Upgrade your comm to T3 early, pick him up in a transport, and drop him in your opponent's base. And whether you win or lose, your chances of being casted increase exponentially with that sort of ballsy tactic. So go do that, and I'll see what happens, but no promises. Anyway, it's going to be ladder match, and it's going to go down on the one, the only, the all-time infamous Setton's Clutch. I'm ready, you guys are ready, and the players are sure as hell ready. Let's go on over to the game zone and see how they're going to get on. Ching. Ka-ching. There we go. God, this is when you started this up and you boot in, you're on ladder, you're like, oh my god, it's Setton's, and you can see the reaction. It's like, oh no, I had stuff to do as well. Welcome to ladder. Let's introduce our players. Down here at the bottom left in the red corner, it's none other than ezwithmantis. Of course, we've seen him in previous casts recently. We know him better as the one and only Mad Mozart, and that's how we shall be referring to him today. He's going his customary Cybrin, opening first land, going second air, and his opponent up here at the top right in the blue corner, it's SonozakiMion, or Sonoza. That's how I'm going to be referring to, because yeah, I don't even know what that's. I don't know if he's changed his name to something else, from something else as well. But here he is, and he's going UEF, opening first and second land. If we go to... No, I'm still not getting that right key. Split screen to examine their green and pleasant openings and check out what they're going for right off the bat. He didn't even bother, Mozart, to get that first P-gen completed before he went on to his second factory. Both factories getting adjacency bonuses on the mexes, because why not? You've got all the mass in the world. You don't need to worry about losing out one or two little mass storages here and there. But essentially he went land factory, air factory, one P-gen, and I'm assuming he's going to send that first engineer right down here towards the hydro. What went down over here? Well, Sonoza went for a more standard land factory, 2 P-gen, and then he's going land all day again, getting the old important adjacency bonuses next to all of the mexes. He must be hurting for power soon. Well, he's still climbing. It's because he's physically not actually building that much right off the bat, Mozart. That is just the way he is going to roll in this jobby, this chappy, this happy chappy. Let's go to single screen. So he sent a solitary mole up there into the mass field, into the middle. It's important as ever, of course. You want to get your hands on all of that goodness. ezwithmantis, or Mozart, sending his comm right up towards the middle, as is Sonoza. Sonoza flanking with a few scouts here and there. Looks like 3 off the bat, 3 snoops and a couple of strikers. We do have the odd engineer back here, but not trundling up towards the center with the comm there for Mozart. So much expanse to pick up when it's just one of you, and so much energy you're going to have to build not to get power locked. I think the very notion that you're not going to struggle with power or get locked at some point is, quite frankly, for the birds. Ah! Snoop picks off the mole there with its whopping 2 DPS. Well done, sir. First blood to you. We'll see how long you last with that accolade before you get given your ribbons posthumously. No doubt, soon to be the case. Mozart closing in on the mass field. Striker there for Sonoza. Already in place. Two of them now with the Snoop. He'll be aware of what's coming his way. There's the signature. Those strikers will be ordered to withdraw. No point sticking around trying to face that off. And Mozart's going to start scooping the mass right off the bat. And speaking of off the bat, early T1 bomber out for Mozart, heading north with great gusto and purpose. No doubt going to cut in here towards the main base. That's what I would expect. Could go hunting in the backfield, I suppose, for expanding engineers. That could certainly hamper Sonoza's early game if he loses a couple of these bad boys over here. Circling interceptors, looking out for just this sort of eventuality, but slightly too far out to catch that inbound bomber. Scout plane's going to get a read on that engineer, presumably. But that interceptor that's pulling out from the main base will get an eye. But was Sonoza paying attention? Yes, he is. He's going to hang a Louis. Bomber's locked on to the engineer that's doing the set and shuffle. Manages to carefully avoid that first payload, and then he shoots down that bomber. Engineer safe for the time being. However, new threat up above the top pond now, moving in towards the beach. Engineer lurking at that other starting location. It looks like that bomber's making a beeline right for it. Comms down here on the causeway, closing in on one another. Bombs away, and he picks it up, cancelling all of the build orders on those other mechs. How infuriating there for Sonoza. These guys engaging one another. Mass total 7.3k, 7.4 to 6.7 in favour of Sonoza. Let's check out reclaim totals. It's actually Sonoza 3.5 versus 4 for Mantis. So that total, where Sonoza is ahead, based on generated eco, which is now leveled up. So imagine that potentially to start equalizing that differential. All depends who gets the lion's share of the mass here. And Mozart wasn't even reclaiming there for a while. Sonoza going after these Salems. Mantis move in to engage the comm. Never at risk, really, at the early game with your comm right off the bat on the causeway, especially in ladder, because you've got the water so close by. Can always dip away to safety. Transport out to the backfield there. For Sonoza, 4 engineers offloaded to what would be the natural rearguard position in your regular 4v4. He's got some catching up to do in generated eco. Is he power locked? No, he is not. Both these guys actually doing pretty well on the power front, managing not to get themselves locked out. Are a lot of mexes, but they are quite well spread out, so I guess it's giving the players time to keep their powerhouse in order. Cheeky little overcharge there from Sonoza. Takes out about 4 or 5 hostile units in one blow. The way he backs up into the water. Sonoza still with the overall total advantage. Actually, no, he's dipped behind. Sorry, that was 15 and 14. He's just behind now. He's ahead on score. Not that that means diddly boo, as Ned Flanders would put it. Transport in now for Mozart, picking up that bottom left position. Interceptor locked onto a scout plane over there. on the left. Not managing to catch it up, though. T2 upgrade on the way for Sonoza. This is where a UEF player can come into his own, start throwing down those horrendous emplacements, driving enemies back in the face of his overwhelming point defense. Certainly against the Cybran anyway. Overcharging goodness as he goes. 17 kills now on board Sonoza's comm and climbing. That was a lot of Cybran casualties right there, but it did manage to force a cancel earlier on, which was probably all he was concerned about. Sonoza starts the upgrade again. 10% complete so far. And here we go. So, tech switch over to naval pressure in the top pond for Mad Mozart. And in a 1v1, if you can get the ponds, that's going to give you an enormous advantage. It's going to be very hard to stay with any kind of presence on the causeway when you're getting overwhelmed by naval pressure. Transport away to the side island there on the left, if you check the mini-map. Mozart going to pick that up. 60% done on the upgrade for Sonoza. Doesn't look like Mozart's going to be able to force a cancel this time. And that will probably mean some ground about to be yielded. Ah, he's going straight for gun damage and range as well. So stacking firepower and some hit points on the comm with that build utility to boot. That'll be a significant advantage for Sonoza on the causeway. Mad Mozart, unupgraded, sitting with that base 10,000 hit points on that Cybran comm. Gonna find himself outmatched. He is looking pretty strong, at least in T1 spam numbers. Let's do a quick head count there of these two teams or what's on. So we've got 62 strikers, getting a bunch of Lobos in here as well there. 28 of those. Mad Mozart with 71 Mantis, but no light artillery to speak of. No Medusas. And forward he comes again with his comm. It's damage and range, so he can start firing earlier. Free experience at this point. Forward he goes. That mechs and that radar not long for this world, I should think. Check the mini-map though, you can already see the first few naval vessels out for Mozart. That is where he's been placing some of his expenditure. Is that going to go and bite Sonoza in his big shiny metal behind? The fact that he has not even dipped one solitary toe into the naval game. Scout planes plummeting out of the air in the background there. Parashields moving forward, so parashields and pillars. T2 ground tech starting to make an emergence for Sonoza, who is really pushing forwards. Mozart going for stealth on his comm. He's got a gun upgrade already. Speed and range. Now he's going to come in behind this pile of units. Mini-map, you can see those vessels lurking around the shoreline there. Doesn't look like he's quite in range of those engineers. Now Sonoza right at the front of Mozart's forward base, and this is where he wants to set up shop. Throws down a triad. He's queued up a bunch more along with a shield gen. One slight problem is this Cybran comm right behind him, just sniping away at his spam. Is Mozart going to hang around? He pirouettes in the water. I wondered for a moment if he wasn't going to pull his comm all the way back here. There's no real reason to, and he would lose the advantage that he's got on that side of things, allowing Sonoza to push forward. But Sonoza actually may have bitten off more than he can chew here, facing a bit of a counter push from Mozart's spam. It's inbound, and the comm now in danger of finding himself a little bit cut off and surrounded. Spam moves in for Sonoza on Mozart's comm. He's at about 10,500 HP, but Sonoza's still in the green as well. His full health, remember, as well, considerably higher considering he's got that T2 engineering suite. So his current HP hits the yellow, but it hits it at about 13,500. Overcharged here and there, picks up a nice rank in Vet, gets him back up into the green over 15,000. And then the two comms focus in on one another. Sonoza breaking away here and there to fire an overcharge into those T2 units, but look at how much his army's been thinned out. Mozart doing great work there right at the front of his base, managed to prevent Sonoza from setting up shop. Now what's going on up here? Just those tridents. This is more than anything naval denial patrol, just making sure there aren't any blue engineers in the water working on naval yards. And we've got 4 new naval yards down there as well, and frigates on their way up to the cliffs and the small beach section over here. And this could be bad for Sonoza. This looks like he's setting himself up to yield both top and bottom ponds. That's going to be enormously difficult if he doesn't remedy that to sustain any kind of pressure going down the causeway when he's got destroyers and cruisers cross-firing into it from a position of, well, relative safety. Tactical missile launcher under construction under this newly produced T2 shield gen. What's going on in the backfield now? We've got T2 air headquarters. And this is what he might have to think about it. He's late to the naval game. So no doubt, I would imagine, we're going to see a pivot towards air and more pressure being brought towards Mozart in the form of torpedo bombers, I would imagine. Viper mobile missile launcher on the front line. Just lobbing missiles in Sonoza's direction. Looks like it's impacting on a shield covering the comm there. New bank of triads under construction, 2 in place, but they're taking Viper fire, and the shields up front covering all of this are blinking on and off. Sonoza, 1 or 2 power issues. He's got it sorted now, but he's not got a lot of redundancy there. As we said before, so many mexes. It's a very real danger, the power lock on a map like this. Third T2 P-Gen under construction, hoping to rectify all of that. You can see Sonoza starting to take a lead on power production, which is a very clear telltale sign that they intend to ramp up air production. Newbies out there. Air costs considerably more power to produce than land. That is your much more of your bottleneck. One of the many beautiful nuances to the economy in this game. Those 3 Cerberus turrets up front. Curse word away from death, most of them. 2 400 hit points, 1 100 hit point Cerberus turret. But actually, it's the Vipers for Mozart who look like they're making progress. Buzzkill back here, trying to keep up with it. He's got a Clink Hammer there as well. No associated, but a Control K and a Reclaim. So this has not been hugely cost-effective pressure from Sonoza. He pushed right up to the front of Mozart's base and started building his own. Had to drop that back. He's built another one here. He is flinging TAC missiles in towards Mozart. He's going to bag a T2 mechs. Very nice. But again, another forward position that it looked like he was going to commit to, but actually he's dropped back once more. Scooped up the Clink Hammer, which is something, would have got some nice reclaim in for that. T3 Air complete. Onto fusion reactors. The T2 Navy hasn't materialized as fast as it could have. There is the T2 Naval Headquarters completed, and immediately starts work on Salem, which has allowed Sonoza a little bit of time to focus on the air side of things. Now, where is Mozart's main air factory? Looks like he's operating purely off T1 still for the air game. Plenty of T2 land factories, and this will be the differential. So naval investment for Mozart, aerial investment for Sonoza. Both of these guys with T2 ground presence, but what are we looking at here? It looks about 3 regular T2 factories up front and 1 T2 HQ. Seems like Mozart has invested a lot more on the ground. It looks like we're almost at double that. We're at, yeah, we are. We're at 8, including the headquarters. So a lot more factories upgraded on Mozart's side of things. And a band of rhinos now rolling on towards that heavily shielded front line for Sonoza. Lots of power shields in the mix. And that's not going to go well for Mozart at all. Com in residency as well. That will be heavy Cybran losses. Mozart has to back up. It's a beautiful sight right there. Guile remaining totally objective as normal. So we've already got a nice contingent of torpedo bombers. But here comes a Strat inbound Mozart's paying attention. He will have got a read on it there as it flew over the top of that Salem. There are interceptors lurking, and it looks like they've already been ordered to engage. Trouble is, the strats are usually a little too fast. Oh, maybe not this time though. Took a lot of fire coming in over the top of that. Killed one T2 mechs, but down to around 100 hit points and runs promptly into another little bank of tracers down here, which does complete the kill. So early strat bomber didn't work out too well on that side of things. Torpedo bombers homing in on the tridents over by the beach. Interceptors look like they're moving up towards that area of things from Mozart, but there are ASFs already in place for Sonoza, lying in wait, protecting these stalks as they start to sink these T1 vessels. Another strat bomber inbound, heading more or less directly over the causeway. And this is what I was worried about for Sonoza. As soon as you start getting destroyers and cruisers parked up on here, any forward momentum is going to be badly hampered. But another ambassador strat bomber shot out of the sky. Looked like he got one bomb off into the mix of spam before the interceptors took him down. Sonoza not being cost effective at all with his unit movement right now. Not getting any real benefit from that high value investments. Stalks brought to bear now on the cruiser and the Salem. Down they go. A long way from critical mass of cruisers and destroyers required to keep the skies clean and prevent that kind of tactic. Tangling of escort craft over here. Looks like it's gone relatively evenly in that exchange, but the tech mismatch. Sonoza definitely with an advantage. Strat is bugged. Interesting, I wonder what. Perhaps we will find out. Another ambassador inbound. This time hitting out against the cliffs. Score 1 T2 mechs. Amazing how much the ambassador resembles the US drones. Another one down with all of its mass storage. And another one. Engineers hurriedly building tracers. A lot of them got whacked in that flyby. This is a better run here from Sonoza. Hangs a giant Louis. Comes back at the same position. Another mech's in danger. Another mech's down. This is a much better run. And he needs it as well, because despite all that, he's still 20 mass behind. Most of these up here are T1 mexes, but there are T2s in the core mass section at the cliffs. Ha! Another one bites the dust. Mozart still unable, or sorry, Sonoza still unable to catch up. Good coverage from the ASFs. Just managed to keep that ambassador alive with 23 kills. Is he going to pull it out and allow it to rep up? Probably a sensible decision. Excuse me. Promise it's not Corona. Probably shouldn't promise that. I definitely don't know. It's not like I've had to test. It's my own special brand of illness called no sleep. Because the kids have gone back to school and I'm still behaving like it's the summer holidays. But how good is that? This is the first day, ladies and gentlemen. The first day in 6 months that all of the kids are out of the house. I probably should have been more animated about that in the opening, but honestly, I'm just so tired it slipped my mind. But it is absolutely beautiful being able to cast without the constant noise coming through the doors. Dude, no cheating, says Mozart. Question mark comes back from Sonoza. I am not sure what he's referring to there. Answers on a postcard or in the comment section below if you catch what it was Mozart was upset about there. If Sonoza was engaging in some kind of exploit somewhere that we missed. Rudder on the Salem taking a pummeling. There's nothing worse than a good pummeling in the rudder. Once again, we see the ASFs versus interceptors. This should be a matter of simple cleanup operation for Sonoza. Do see our first ASF out from Mozart, who's been forced to react. But now we've got clumps of strap bombers out from Sonoza, targeting vulnerable, very exposed reactors for Mozart. Look at all of these. So he's lost a bunch of factories there. He's lost now what looks like 3 ion reactors. There's another one outlying here. What's it doing to his power grid? Well, he's okay for now, but he definitely doesn't want to lose that one or these other T2s. He could really be in trouble. And at the moment, there's not much he can do about it. Surprised all of these engineers aren't suddenly working on tracers. Anything that can shoot back. Or indeed T3 mobile anti-air there. Oh, that's gotta hurt. And now we see the power lock come in. Virtually all of Mozart's power assassinated in this attack. This is better from Sonoza. Finally making it pay, and now Mozart's comm is under pressure. Woo! Oh my goodness, almost into the red. 3,200 hit points left. Oh, 300 hit points. So close to going down. Are there any strats left? No. He's run out of strats. And we're finally starting to see some bouncers come out. Mobile, anti-air. Mozart gets away with it by the skin of his teeth. Nearly gets himself sniped. And now he says it's time for some counter pressure. And it looks like it's him this time that has the tech mismatch on the ground. Bricks versus assorted T2. Yes, they've got parashields, but they've already been depleted. And those bricks in danger of waltzing right through the forward base here of Sonoza. Just enjoys success, only to get knocked right back out of it. And while all of this is going on, it's important that we should mention the top pond has been completely cleared by torpedo bombers, and Sonoza has set up shop. And not only that, he already has T2 in place. He's got governors lobbing cruise missiles in towards the main base of Mozart. So there's a crazy passage of play back and forth with these guys engaging in different theaters. That entire forward base for Sonoza is now toast. And badly cooked toast as well, by the looks of it. It's toast on that first really hot day of summer. And you forget that actually room temperature can affect the overall outcome of the toasting experience. All true Englishmen will understand the misery of overcooking toast in the early days of summer. All you guys with the climate control in the States, you don't know what I'm talking about, but Englishmen understand the struggle. Now the cliffs under pressure for Sonoza as well. He's lost the front base. He's about to lose the last of his core mass over at the cliffs. And he's not got any real response for it. He needs to get more strat bombers out, but right now he's putting all of his aerial work into defending against this ground attack, which seems to be moving right towards the backfield, up towards his air production centers at the back. Looks like it's going to peter out before it gets there, though. About to run through a gauntlet of triads over here. Can't get past the comm. Strats harassing from the skies above, picking off the bricks. How are things going down here? Meanwhile, 4 governors now in the bay. They're busy taking out mexes at the cliffs. Mozart with a defensive battery of zappers over here, managing to keep his main base shielded for now. Now, once this attack has been thwarted, where will Sonoza redirect those strats? There's a lot of firepower. 6 strats could do a lot of damage with that. Possible snipe attempt? Maybe. We are seeing more and more mobile anti-air being produced, and we've also got Myrmidons kicking about the place now, which weren't around in any great number during that last attack. You would have imagined Mozart would have shored up his base against aerial attack after getting his entire power grid assassinated. Suddenly these Cybran vessels in the bay find themselves without anything to shoot at. A couple of Salems in there could get all gender confused and go sprout some legs. Doesn't look like that's on his mind right now. Janus soaring over the midfield point on Sonoza's side of things, in formation with those ambassadors. Attack commands yet to be given. Quick look at mass income, and Sonoza is way off the pace after that last assault, having given up his forward base at the front of the causeway completely. He is well behind Mozart. 324 versus almost 500, 494. That is enormous. And Mozart already has a total advantage of around 50 odd K in mass accrued, and that is going to get bigger and bigger the longer this goes on. But we have our first experimental of the day. It's a fat boy out from Sonoza. And he's queued up 2 more as well, going straight for a Novak center. A couple of them, in fact, assuming they both get built. So, reaching the point where these guys are starting to consider some standoff tactics. Strategic missile defense online for Mozart. Zap, zap, zap. Was there ever a more apt symbol of Cybran belligerence than the Zapper? How dare they shoot down UEF missiles? Destruction of UEF property. Appalling. So, Novak's complete, satellite out, en route to Mozart's side of things. I've never actually noticed the little unpacking. I wonder if that's anything to do with exotic retard there. That animation. It's a shame the bits don't burn up in the atmosphere or fall all the way to the ground. That would have been nice. Perhaps that's something that they can add at a later date. Faff, as we always say. Constantly updating. Fat Boy now bringing its guns to bear on those boats in the bay. How many will Mozart lose before he recognizes the threat? Parked on a hill, rolling forward. Surely 2 cruisers, but the withdraw command given. And that should be the end of the casualties. Fat Boy won't be able to keep up with those. And off they go. Mozart withdrawing what's left of his ground forces to the middle of the map. Now, what is going to be priority target? You would imagine Sonoza start going on a mass mechs killing mission. Picking off a few engineers on its way past, scooping up some T3 engineer kills. Mozart did nicely, getting his power grid sorted again. Lots of operational ion reactors, all shielded now. One more of those, then there goes a T3 mechs, and my goodness, if Sonoza doesn't need this. It's almost 250 mass behind. That is definitely unsustainable. 38 minutes gone. And territory-wise, Mozart not in that much more, but in terms of development and what he's hauling in eco, he is way ahead. And where's he going to invest it? That's the crucial unknown factor. 2 mechs is down to that satellite. And that lead just eaten into a touch. And there goes the second Novaks now heading down towards Mozart. I started to get excited for a minute. I thought it was an awful lot of strat bombers, but it's not. They're torpedo bombers. Let's just see how many strats he's got. Is it just those 4? Yes, it is. Still got a couple shot down somewhere. I'm sure we were on 6 a while ago. Strategic missile defense online there for Sonoza as well. And lots of triads up at the back, starting to contemplate defensive measures, and that's not a bad idea because look what's on the way. Typical despicable Cybran fashion, a laser upgrade on the comm. So potential snipe attempt from Mad Mozart. Where is the comm? There he is, trundling back. Sonoza trundling back to his main base. Needs to get that protected with point defense, as many T1s as he can muster. Assisting the strategic missile defense as well. I'm wondering if he's seen something. Can't see any nuke on the way, but I can see something that's on the way. A disruptor T3 static artillery queued up in the middle of the map, and it's going to be flanked by a bunch of iron reactors for maximum rapid fire capabilities. Vulnerable T3 mexes located all over the place at the beach. And Mozart, who was up in the 640s when the gap was at its highest between these two players in their eco, now finds himself down to the 580s. Power locks down to 360s, but 580s, 586 is his proper accurate reading when economy's working properly. And Sonoza, who was in the sort of 380, 390 range, is up to 438. So there is a correction on the way, and that is down to this Novak's play from Sonoza. Is it all for nothing, though? Teleporter on the way for Mozart. 41% complete and climbing. Where is the comm here for Sonoza? Here he is. And T3 was on the way, but he cancelled that upgrade and went, oh yeah, he's upgrading again. That's unacceptable. Quick, build point defense around my comm. And all over the base. Look at what he's building. We've got triads at the back here up and running. We've got plasma cannons all around here. Notice protecting the key strategic missile defense building at the back. And then a whole bank of triads up here as well. So desperate to keep evil teleporting Cyberans out of his base at all costs. Maximum defensive measures, always a sensible decision when you see lots of comm upgrades going off on your Cyberan opponent at this stage in the game, and the teleporter is complete. He's got spy planes lurking down here. Trying to set up an intel run, work out where the comm is, how he can get an approach on it. It's quite a chunky comm as well. He's got personal shield now, T2s, F-amp, all that jazz. So he's got a fair old amount of hit points to buffer him. Is he going? He is going somewhere. Where's he going? He is gone.
Commander under attack.
And he's gone right to the middle. And he's picked off a fat boy. Kills an Omni. Where are the strats? Strats parked up here. They get issued an attack order, and I'm sure he'll be evacing out as we speak. 40% done. First strat inbound. Bomb connects. Down to 12,000 HP. Second one inbound. There's a whole bunch of them. Oh my gosh. That was double-digit hit points. Is he going to get out? That was far too risky. Mozart almost gave the game away. Where is he now? Presumably back to his base. Straight into the ponds down here. Wow. That was terrifying. But he managed to pick off a fatty, so well done there. And now, as a result, Bricks have more of an open run at the main base of the back. Unfortunately for him, though, his second fat boy has just completed that, rolling onto the hillock in front of that rear base. Probably a good place to park, just up on the hill there. A little extra range on those cannons. There we have it. Bricks strolling into operational range. Bricks have taken some damage, getting showered by that artillery, and another fat boy turns up. That is a lot of artillery to slowly march through. He needs to get it clear of this hill, though. None of that fire is getting through onto his opponents. He's trying to get a solution. The relief of the land actually helping out Mozart a lot in this engagement. Needs to be careful about the maneuvering of these fatties. Doesn't want to get surrounded by bricks. Oh, that was a wild shot there from that strat. And bricks now encroaching on the main base. Unfortunately, of course, there's all of these banks of point defense that were set up to guard against the tele-snipe. Are they going to get a fusion reactor? Yes, they do. Second one under fire. For some reason they change onto the point defense and then they lock onto the Novaks. That is a very sensible decision. One down. There's still another one up here, but that's now taking fire. Sonoza bringing his comm forward, trying to take them down. Desperate, I'm sure, to try and keep that other Novak station alive. And he's gonna do it. Survives on 2,500 hit points as the last Cybran unit gives up the ghost. And that is huge. Because if you look at what's happened to Mozart's economy because of those Novaks. Oh, but he did get it. He got it because his disruptor finished a while ago and he snags it with a long-range artillery strike. Engineers rush in to get shielding around the front of the base. He wasn't expecting that. But take a look at the eco side of things. The game is completely turned on its head thanks to those Novak satellites. An absolute win on a map like this in a 1v1. Way too much real estate to shield and cover effectively. And just look at all of the green sparkly dots representing redundant mass point locations. Engineers trying to get them re-established. They are reclaiming those wrecks, of course, from the T3, so they'll be scooping a nice amount from that. But still, they've got a lot of catch-up work to do now. Mad Mozart well behind on generated eco. But now the ball is in his court. He's got the one method of striking back with standoff tactics at his enemy. Both Novak stations down. And an operational disruptor under heavy shielding. Even though it's Cybran, they're all upgraded by the looks of things. Ouch! 3 summits. Sonoza's been busy with naval production on the quiet up here. 3 summits and a strategic missile submarine. That is not great news for Mozart. He's going to struggle to deal with that. There's one way to hit back at those really would be torpedo bombers, but he's not got the air initiative. Still being outproduced air-wise. Sonoza either guessing from the trajectory or having scouted is astonished to see that the T3RT is in the mid. Mozart claiming it's not. Shielding just about holding up. New shields on the way. He hasn't got an awful lot of power to play with either. Needs to be careful with that, with all the shielding going up. He's about to finish rebuilding that northernmost Novak station. There it is. ASF scramble to shoot down spy planes. Sonoza has to find a way to deal with that disruptor at the back there, and uh-oh, there's a nuke launcher that is about 40% done on a nuke. Can these summits achieve what he needs? That's the question. With their ridiculously large guns. This will be a new threat for Mozart. It's got a little bank of Gunthers up there which will be able to fire back at them. Might as well move those vessels down as well. They are on the move now. They've got a lot of bulwark ships in there, those shield boats. Help protect those battleships just a little bit. And in fact, the disruptor has redirected its fire onto the naval yards up here. Naval yards that actually aren't producing anything at the moment. Sonoza redirecting his production efforts onto a reassembling predominantly those two Novak centers. One up and running already, obviously, and that second one about half done. But now, three fat boys lurking in the middle. It's an ungodly amount of artillery to walk through. If you wonder why Mozart's forward ground pressure has stopped, well, that's your answer. And that's what that Maser move was all about. The Maser that Mozart nearly lost the game with. Novak satellite not being given anything in a while, but he's taken out the nuke launcher, so that is pretty huge. Mozart's recovered well. Almost back up to parity with Sonoza, just 60 odd mass behind. 60 odd K, that really would be over. Summit's taking some fire, but the bulwark ships have arrived. They've arrived, but said, oh, that's far enough. I don't want to go any further and actually protect the vessels. So they're just going to leave them vulnerable. But the governors are back in town as well, lobbing their cruise missiles in towards the factories over here. Combination of those summits now and the Novaks. That second Novaks must be done by now. Oh, it isn't. It's nearly done. It's a wonderful piece of kit. I used to give it such a hard time, or rather the people that used it before it was buffed. Just wasn't viable back in the old days, really. Didn't achieve very much. ASFs stroll past one another, couple of casualties, nothing to write home about. Mozart not wanting to engage over the top of the cruisers. Sonoza feeling the same about Mozart's base. Looks like he's prioritizing the hives there. Trying to cut down Mozart's production power. He's got to find a way to finish off that disruptor. A wonderful ebb and flow this game. Starts still lurking in the pond down there. A little lake. Actually working on a nuke. Oh, don't leave your strats parked there. Only 296 hit points left on that one. And now some more pressure coming up from the cliffs. But almost as many fat boys as there are bricks lying in wait. Obscene amounts of artillery fire. Still, a couple of mechs down nonetheless. And actually, Mozart with that takes the lead in eco once again. 426 versus 404. Summits have taken some damage. Bulwark ships. Shields depleted. So the summits move out slightly. All thanks to a whole raft of trebuchets that have been firing on those vessels from the edge. Trouble is, of course, that mobile artillery massively outranged by the sea-based cousins. And now it is time for them, no doubt, to get pot shots taken at them. See, that is the closest they can reach. Compare that to the summit. Can hit right into the base from there. Gets a read on the vessels, and then they all open up. That spy plane pass. Sign that Sonoza really needs to get on the up somewhere. Don't know what that disruptor is firing at, but it's missing significantly. Must be this T3 mechs up at the back. "56 minutes gone. And you just get the feeling that this is moving in Sonoza's direction. Once again, the mass lead has changed in favor of Sonoza. Mozart is amassing a small brick army in that little side pond. But we're up to 3 Novak stations now. One sitting over the backfield for Mozart, one over at the beach. Again, must be so tiresome on a map like this for Mozart, going around, scooping up all the mexes again. It's highly draining. But a second disruptor on the way. It's about 50% done. Lots of shielding queued up around it. Try and keep that sucker alive. Slowly but surely, the summits chewing their way through the front of Mozart's base, and down goes the T3 land headquarters. All of the trebuchets are dead. They're just inching their way further in. There's a lot of shields to get through. Might as well bring those cruisers in a bit further as well. Of course, again, as we always say, easy for us to make that call when we can see everything. The only reason they were moved out was because of that trebuchet pressure, and who's to say there's not more lurking under shield coverage. Sonoza building yet more point defense in his base, feeling thoroughly insecure, knowing that that Mazecom is out there, and it is out there. He's not done anything with it, but he's at full health. He hasn't swapped out the upgrades for anything else. He can strike at any time. Insight into what it's like when you're playing at this level, and you've got to keep all of these little eventualities in mind at all times. Absolutely exhausting. Whoa. Still one of my favorite units of all time. It's depressing though, but I'm going to have to add some Nomads units to that after seeing that that mod doing that stream the other day, the introduction to Nomad stream. I know it's not part of the official canon, but still can't get over that nuke. Quite simply the most awesome thing ever. So now intensity of artillery fire has doubled. Sonoza well shielded though. But the odd shell just sneaking through. Oh man. SMD at the back there, doesn't want to lose that. 96 hit points left. Shield about to blink on. Definitely needs more shield coverage and needs to get on it immediately. He's going to start losing Novak centers again. All the shields down here are simple T2 shields. Got a couple of T3 up here defending it, but this is definitely taking him by surprise, and I think he's focused elsewhere. He's not realizing the danger. Fusion reactors in the back. Taking some fire, they're unshielded. One of the Novak satellites just working on a forward blob of units there. And we're starting to see a nuke under construction. Amazing that these submarines can manufacture nukes. Marvelous tech. Up to 4 summits now, shooting in from the bay. Shields down over here. He's going to lose a few. Suddenly that left flank looking a little bit vulnerable. Cross the 1 hour threshold. 1 hour, 2 minutes down. He's lost a few T2 reactors. Goodness me, nearly lost that nuke eliminator, but memory serves, I don't actually think Mozart's rebuilt his nuke launcher anywhere. This is getting pretty critical now for Mozart. battleships from the top pond chewing into the main base. Fire raining down from the heavens in the form of those satellites. Down goes a reactor. He needs to take out these shield gens, or indeed take out the ion reactor, and the explosion will do it for him. Where is strategic missile defense? There it is. And it's fully loaded, 7 of 7. So if he hopes to sneak a nuke in from up here, which he's not far off now, he's about 2/3 done on that, he's going to have to take that out. It's now a race. A race between the Disruptor's ability to shut down this base up here. Mozart building more of those all the time, kill off those Novak satellites. And a race for the satellites and the summits to kill off that nuke defense. Oh! He's got it! Now, to my knowledge, that's the only SMD in this area.
Strategic launch detected.
My goodness, he finished that off quickly. He might have had one stored up that I missed, but the nuke is away. He must be certain. Mozart's like, oh man. And that surely will be game. Sonoza wins the exchange. All disruptors will be destroyed. Maximum bloom nuke. And there it is. Now, seemingly with no riposte at this point. His main base gone. Wide open to attack. Surely that's game. He's sending in what he's got. It was a last-ditch effort. He was stacking bricks up in the pond down there in the hope of some kind of breakthrough, but now there are lots of Percivals lying await. Mozart can't believe he couldn't crack that base with his two arties. Two arties heavily assisted with P-gens as well, firing at their more or less their maximum rate. Sonoza, though, solid on the defensive side of things, the shielding. He did have tons of shields. He nearly broke him, it's fair enough, but the regular T3 arty just doesn't get the job done like the game-ending artillery does. Doesn't have that punching power. You've got to stack up lots of them to properly crack a defensive base. Down go the bricks. There's another group of bricks marching in up the center. Fat boys pushing in to cover, but really, what are they going to do at this point? There's now another nuke loaded in the submarine. Satellites roaming unchecked. Bricks will have to content themselves with some air staging kills because they're not going to get an awful lot else. Ambassadors raining hellfire down from above. Well, they managed to get that factory, but surely that is it. ASF's tangle right above the top of Sonoza's base. And that is going to be Air advantage handed over. Surely that's everything. And there's the control K out from Mad Mozart, who put up a valiant defense. But alas, no cigar. What a shame that is. Well, a major standoff fest, but that's kind of what you expect in a ladder match between these two guys. You know, you haven't got that 4v4 dynamic, so it's a very different proposition, trying to breach into the backfield and take out all of that. But fascinating counterplay, major shifts in advantage between the two players throughout the game. I certainly enjoyed it. I hope you did too. Don't forget, guys, if you want more content, you can check me out on the Guilecast VIP for only $1 a month. Think about what you can buy for $1. Not very much. I really should get some examples, but there's just hardly anything out there. It's a chocolate bar. Come and join us. Serious, you're missing out on all the fun. So there is another cast up on there. I would be doing a planned. I'm really annoyed. I planned to do an anti-spoiler at the end of this one and go have a game, but unfortunately, over the course of this, my net has given out, so there will be no logging on to do any of that jazz, annoyingly. But que sera, sera. Until next time, guys, stay well and stay safe. This is Guile signing out.